The Scout is back and in a big way. We're going to be taking this thing to an off-road park. Now that it has a lift, tires, bumper, let's put this thing to use because growing up, if you're anything like me, you always heard the stories. International Scouts are tanks. They're indestructible. The farmers and ranchers would say, never got one stuck, impossible. They go anywhere, right? So the problem is there's a lack of evidence. I have not seen it personally. So we're going to set out to see where can a Scout go and what can it do. Stay tuned. So we got it in the shop here because we're getting this thing ready. We got to check out the differentials, maybe glance at the U-joints that I know are bad and we're not going to fix. Also, I got to put brakes on it, okay? I've been daily driving this thing for months now, and I think one right caliper is working in the front. Brake light's on, pedal goes to the floor. There's no brakes, is what I'm saying. So that could be handy going through the trails at an off-road park, especially if we're going to be coming off rock cliffs, or I don't know what we're getting into. So we're going to lift this thing up. I've got a master cylinder and wheel cylinders and calipers and shoes and pads and hoses and doodads and clips. We're going to probably start in the rear, work our way through this thing until either we get brakes or we just get exhausted and give up at that point. But let's get this thing up in the air, do some maintenance on this before we head to the park. This is AG1 by Athletic Greens, but before I tell you more about this, let me tell you something about me that you did not know. A few years ago, I used to be what some would call a gym rat. Yep, weird, right? But I said it. In fact, I used to go to the gym 4 to 5 days a week. I had a very, very strict schedule of diet and everything that goes with it. But now that I work 7 days a week on the channel here, I literally do not have time to make it to the gym. However, that doesn't mean I can't give my body the vitamins and minerals it needs. And for the past month or so, I've been doing that by AG1. This literally has 75 vitamins and minerals in it. Plus, it supports a healthy gut, and a healthy gut for me meant more energy and a better mood. I used to have a whole rack of vitamins and stuff that I would chew on in the morning, but I no longer have to do that. 1 scoop of AG1 takes care of me. To use it, super simple. Throw this in here, throw in a little bit of water, put in whatever is your favorite shaker cup. I use this one because I'm lazy and it literally shakes it for me. I take this right away in the morning, done. To get your first order started, go to athleticgreens.com/vicegrip. Athletic Greens is going to help you out by giving you 1 year free vitamin D and 5 travel packets. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/vicegrip. Thanks to Athletic Greens for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the Scout. Buddy Josh is here from Utah. He is a off-road connoisseur.
Sure.
He heard we were off-road in the Scout and he says, I'm in.
Yep.
And what he didn't know is I was already planning that he was going to do a full brake job. So
I didn't sign up for that part.
what do we got back here?
Caliper.
Pads.
You got 2 lefts, 2 rights.
Those
one
are
of each.
beefy, actually.
They are. Single piston.
We got some shoes for the
Ooh,
rear.
they're Bendix.
Wow. We got some Sumsong Tinglong brake hoses. I'm pretty sure I already knew that those were dry rotted, which is why I got those. I got the brake hardware bag, which is a must if you're doing drum brakes because everything just explodes.
We got wheel cylindrays.
Master cylinder, must have been feeling really ambitious.
Banjo bolt shims.
That sounds confusing. So basically we've got an entire brake system, and like I said, we'll start in the back, start putting things together and replacing and whatnot until we get a functional brake system. But if we're super ambitious, maybe we'll get all the way up into putting a new master in. I literally picked all this stuff up back in like December. I just haven't had the time to really dive into this thing. But going off-roading is a good excuse to finally dig into this. What are you looking at there?
Well, we just got all this play right here in this yoke, slip yoke. U-joint, yeah, no, that U-joint is definitely shot. That's fine. We'll just pretend we didn't see anything. Do you have any Dana 44 front Chevy axles laying around, or
I do not.
drivetrain?
They're in trucks, yes.
In trucks.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is close to the same length,
Lengthish wiser.
so we can at least have a spare.
That's
if
true.
this one goes full potato.
It's funny how dainty these drive shafts are. That's just
For a diesel, I mean, that I can wrap my fingers around it. That's fine, right?
Yeah. We're looking at the pinion seals are leaking, and we're gonna check the levels on that because we're gonna fill them with water here soon, so we want to have a little bit of oil in them.
Oh,
That's probably what
that's
was
gravel.
keeping it plugged.
Not anymore.
Great.
Cool. Yeah, we might want to pop this off, and that's thick. Nope. I mean, it's not leaking out of the pumpkin or the diff cover. It's just all coming out of that pinion, which is normal.
You want to lift these off above your head, right?
Yes. That's the only way. Well, just throwing your nuts everywhere.
Okay. Oh yeah, we got wheel spacers on here. Forgot about that. I guess I could lower this down so the tire isn't above my head.
Sure. That goes down fast.
There we go.
That thing wastes no time.
Forgot about these spacers. I suppose that's another weak point.
Not necessarily. Is it a hub-centric design or
Negative.
those rough country?
No, they were Japan country.
5 on 5.5. That might be the only thing that comes off easy.
Shake that. Is it going to come off?
Absolutely not.
Great.
Nope. She is hermetically sealed.
So far, we got a blown wheel cylinder. You can tell because of the way that it is. But honestly, if you get this slimy, gross, feeling on the shoes here, that's all that brake fluid mixing with the brake dust, and it makes kind of that paste. So that shot, gonna have to replace that. Looking at that line, I think I got one of those we can maybe get in here too. Hopefully this will back off. No, we'll twist that off into the brake cylinder. So then, we're gonna be replacing this, and it just goes on and on and on. This needs turned horribly bad. So I'm gonna call into town and see if they have the adapter. I know they turn the dinner plate brakes, but I'm not sure about these. And these haven't been turned ever. That's a huge groove from the shoe design here. This side wasn't as bad, but the drum also needs fixed on. So we're gonna load both those up, head down to O'Reilly's and have them turn those while we're getting in here doing the stuff. So here you can see the actual brake juice, it's going ahead and leaking on there. So yeah, this one is definitely shot. I got all that new hardware. This stuff doesn't look that bad, but we'll put the new stuff back in anyway. And Josh is gonna try to crack open the rear and see if there's anything left in it, because the pinion seal is pretty shot, but we can at least top it off and ignore the leak. So this quick little jobber has turned into a little bit of a leaky mess here. The oil was so thick, wasn't quite coming out, so he thinned her up with some brake clean, and well, now she's not clogged. Was clogging up the line, but we're slowly getting there. I'm over here rebuilding this backing plate, and what I mean by that is just a little bit of brake rejuvenation spray. Speaking of rebuilding, just a reminder, you can rebuild these fellers. If you're on a tight budget, you just pop these caps off, put seals in them, yada yada. The kits are out there for most wheel cylinders, but not all. I'm gonna go ahead and just put new ones in. The jabber outer pins here, and then the whirly-woo wheel down here, I just run them through the cheek poker and clean them up. And tricks are for kids, so I'm gonna give you a tip here. Assembling this is always difficult, most guys find, because it's always shooting apart and falling, and you gotta keep lining everything up and whatever. This is just hanging in place because I always start on the bottom with this spring here and your adjuster upper roly wheelie. And then that's just gonna squeeze it, and then if you have it in the grooves, it'll just sit here and hang. And now, in this case, I can go in, start putting together the e-brake, Actually, this part goes on first. I got to get that through the whirly-woo. And then start putting my springs on in reverse order. Once those are in, then I come back and put the pins with the curlicues, with the doodads, and all that stuff. Guys, got this side finished up. Now I just got to move over to the captain side and do the same process. Back from O'Reilly's, these look pretty darn good. Sure beats special ordering these or what have you and waiting on them. 20 bucks, get them turned. I'm gonna go ahead and finish rebuilding them. Hit them with a little bit of st. Of course, you know the color by now. The old 1635. That'll bring that right back around to brand new.
Like factory.
So when a guy puts these drums on, what I normally do is make your adjustment and get it as close as you can so when you slide this on, you get just a little bit of drag. Then you can come back through the window with your spoon wrench, also known as just a flat screwdriver, and then you can finitely adjust it, spin it, roll it. You don't want it gripping and grabbing. You want it to spin freely, but just hear a little bit of drag on this. Look at his footwork. He's checking the front, axle thing, and he said it looks decent and we're gonna pretend it's good. So that's nice. Also rebuilt the frame, a little bit of so that means there's all new bushings now, and I can't find the receipts, but all the body mounts and everything are brand new. These are a little wet, but we're gonna roll with it. So I got this one loosely adjusted. There we go. A little bit of friction, but not terrible. And do one side at a time. Because if you got both on and you're trying to turn this side and the other side's dragging, you're gonna think this side's dragging, but is it the other side, but you're not sure, so you adjust that side and you should have done this side. And then you gotta do it all again. So one at a time. We're torquilazing the wheels, and then we can get this thing up in our teeth and start bleeding, and then that's the point we're gonna figure out if the master's still good. I'm thinking it hopefully is, because we saw evidence of other issues within the brake system. Now, fingers crossed, gonna actually be building pressure. We don't start blowing out hard lines and other stuff in the system. Probably shouldn't have even said that. I'm anxious to see how these good trips actually trip off-road. They do have a 10-ply sidewall, which is great. We're gonna air them down and then bring a little compressor with this. But they definitely have an aggressive tread pattern. Doesn't mean they'll perform good.
Nope.
Wanted to get your peeper hooked into this. This is kind of convenient. Almost always when you replace these rubber lines, which if you're wondering why I'm replacing this, it's still good, but not. Anywho's, up here, there's usually a regular brake fitting that comes right into this, and you try to get this out and it strips or breaks the brake line that goes up to either a distribution block or the master cylinder. Then you've opened a can of rocks and you're really into it. So this is nice because this bolt just comes right into the end of the hose here, and we're not gonna have that issue. But this is a new one I got here. We'll do this on both sides while we're in here. Basically all we gotta do is just disconnect it here, because we're gonna take all of this off and just put new on. Now that being said, I am gonna hang on to these old calipers because they're working. And I do have other Scouts, so we're gonna throw them in the parts bin and hang on to them so we're not wasting these or anything like that. Definitely not gonna turn them in for a core or throw them away. Gonna hang on to them. This one's okay. That one, I could see the groove on that one actually from here. Hubs are smooth, both sides, which is really, really good news. We don't have to dig into that stuff. Really different brake design. There's basically this sits on here, and I guess you just physically drive this in, and it literally just pinches the caliper in between these two parts here. It's not like GM where you have bolts, or most other makes where you have bolts that you pull out. So that's pretty interesting. Also, my suspicion, I think, is true where the right front was the only thing breaking, because this is really, really thin. Well, there's nothing left. And the driver's side looks halfway decent. We got this side all buttoned up. This did come with all the new hardware and the jammy, slidey pins and the locker doodap. And the hose came with new crush washers, which is great. No issues over here. Everything went back together good. This is pretty taut though. Boy, you're gonna have to, hopefully they don't heat up and stick, but there's really only one way to smash these together, and it's just tight. So hopefully after a few miles, it gets a little bit of wear in this and it loosens up, but I am a little bit concerned that that's gonna create some heat and stick like we had on the Cadillac when we put new calipers and pads in. We're gonna use the brake horse juice sucker machine, get the stuff out and clean this out. Yeah, it shouldn't be cherry red rust color. So we'll dip this in here, get all this soaked out, and then we'll take the brake cleaner and rejuvenize on it. There we go.
Ready?
Yep. All right, that's good. There, now we could try to get this mud out of here. It's terrible. Look at this here now, fellers. Completely rebuilt, brand new. Now we just throw some brake juice in it and start pumping slowly, build some pressure. Then I think we'll go ahead and just use that machine because, well, I'm lazy. And that just auto-magically pulls all the air out of the system, and hopefully we're good to go. Well, great news. Entire truck is bled, 0 leaks, and the pedal is rock hard, so we're good to go. The master cylinder is definitely bad, and it's fading whenever you hold your foot on it. The seal in it is shot. Don't have a rebuild kit, but we got that new one. So luckily in this rig, I mean, they got it right up in your eyebrows. It's not like tucked way down in there. And the fittings on here look pretty good. Still gonna hit them with some juice. Should have this off pretty quick, and then we just gotta bleed it again. Well, it got pretty late on us last night. We did get the new master cylinder in, and we had some air get locked up in that distribution block, and it took a little bit to get it out, but we had a fun time, had some friends over and stuff like that. But we're getting all loaded up this morning. We're gonna have a spare, jack, minimal tools, a couple vice grips, that's all a guy needs. I had this side customized, but Josh finished customizing that side this morning.
It's fine.
You know, 2 Sasquatches in here. You gotta get a little headroom, especially with how much we're planning on bouncing today. This is the real deal fiberglass here. So to make this a little bit more challenging and interesting, we're gonna go ahead and drive this to the trail, do some off-roading today, try to drive the thing back. Average feller is doing that anyway, right? You're just driving your rig up there, having a little bit of fun, wheeling, and then you gotta get yourself home. So we're gonna stop at the gas station, top off with diesel, grab a chicken sandwich. I don't care who you are. You're good. First issue of the day, the old battery is overchargulating. The charging whirler is set to turbo mode. Thankfully, this is full mechanical, so we're just gonna fire it up, take the negative off, and then we'll basically just use this to start the rig. We're not gonna have any gauges, but we don't need them. You could smell when this thing's getting hot or anything like that. And also with the EGTs, you get a little bit of oil smell. So we'll be fine. I'm gonna fire this up, hold the brake. Josh can take off the negative, and then we're on the road. Well, we have made her to Wooley's Off-Road. Never been here before. They've got, I can't remember how many hundreds and hundreds of acres this guy just said he had back here. And it's split up by behind the shop, and there's a highway, and then in front of it. We have no idea where we're going. There's some sort of a map, and it says everything from Big Hill. Yep, it's a big hill to, if you go here, you're gonna get dents and broken glass. Now, our goal is not to beat this thing up. I don't wanna have new dents or break any glass or anything like that. This is more of a, can a guy go deer hunting or gold panning or tenting or whatever in a Scout reasonably and not get stuck or break down as he's falling down. There's a bunch of stuff like this out here we may eventually get to today, but for now we're going to kind of just catch our bearings and wheel around a little bit and see what we can find. There's so much out here. We want to try to get, you know, a little bit different flavors of terrain if we can. Well, a couple fellers found ourselves in this situation. What beautiful country. But all of this, might I say, fear is a little bit more than what the Scout can handle. But you guys pick. You got, doesn't look good. We definitely ain't making it through that. Don't got the articulation. Too deep, we're stuck. I don't even know how to explain what's going on over there. That ain't gonna work. And definitely not getting through those roots. So, you guys pick. Right? Kinda right, middle, or left. Okay, I mean, we'll go that way, but I feel like we're gonna be using the come along, but that's what you want. Well, I guess we're gonna try to go this way, and that bounces up into there, crosses over on the side, then we gotta get into the creek bed to go that way. He's gonna spot me and I don't know, see what happens. I don't think you'd be hunting like this, but we're definitely testing out the Scout. Well, we just made her to the top of that. Now we've got to decide, you know, I don't know what to do at this point. Get across there, can't go up the creek bed, ain't got clearance. I guess we're gonna be straddling that unless we turn around. We're in here, you know what I mean? Sure is a nice creek, whatever you call them. Well, got ourselves in a situation. We're gonna have to come up that. I can't get through this because we can't flex through that ravine. We're gonna try to roll it, going around this. Gotta make a sharp corner up by Josh, try to head up that trail, and then we think there's a road up there somewhere that can get us back to, you know, normal real life situation stuff. So, bump her into 4 low and just feed her the onions, I guess. Nothing left to do.
shot in.
That's a good sign.
The joint's gone. So as long as we don't fold a tire into the crack, we're fine.
That's
probably what did
also
that.
about 400% bigger than mine.
Yep. Yeah. I guarantee that's what happened. The guy came in here, the tire turned, popped, broke this out.
Oh boy.
We'll be fine. It's fine.
Yeah. We're kind of putting together a story here of broken parts. And this guy here is a tie rod remover. They're neat. You could find them in nature.
Oh, I know what happened here. He cut this.
You sure?
See that it's been welded together with very
Yeah.
something wrong.
Wow.
Not supposed to be like that.
But is it good?
It
Should we
goes
keep it for a spare? Or?
We probably make it work, right?
Yeah.
It's lost both joints. It's cool.
We got barbed wire. Okay, the plan is I don't have one. I'm just gonna, you know, hang on. Stay away from these things. Blow a bead. Snap a tie rod. And just, you know, see what happens. We got to navigate this section. This is where we slammed our diffs into the ground. So I'm going to jump up on here, almost roll it through there, hug that tree, which should maybe save us, and then we'll work our way down. And we're going to try to come back down to the camp, which is, you know, it's a scoosh that way. And then we saw some trails on the other side. I think there, what did he say, like 350 acres or something over there?
Something crazy, right? So we've got this whole side on the, what are we on the left side of the right side of the road? And there's a whole other side over there, so we'll have a gander at least.
Yeah, this is an amazing place. I think we found where the rock bouncers come to play.
Yeah.
We got some signage in here, and this is all uphill, steep, like that.
Rated a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5?
Tail light. You guys maybe brings tail lights?
Tail light, yeah. Goodbye tail lights.
Yeah, they're just saying see tail lights when you're in traffic jam.
We don't quite think we're gonna risk this side. This side over here seems to be, you know, the professionals with the Lincoln lockers and the proper equipment like winches and stuff. So I think we're gonna head back to camp again and maybe veer off the other way to see what we can find. But so far, no mechanical issues, holding in there just fine, other than the transfer case pops out every now and then.
And we're giving some slices to the tires, but
Yeah.
that's fine, I think.
Oh, and the passenger door just pops open randomly.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I can't wait to fall out.
Well, I am fairly positive we just went up a buggy trail. We made it to the top, so we're gonna shut her down, let the old Scout cool down for a minute, eat our really sketchy gas station sandwiches, and just enjoy the view and the quiet. It is something else, fellers. And then we have bad trail, worser, or you're not gonna make it to choose from. So that's good. At least it's downhill. We could plant the bumper into a tree if we need to, I guess.
Japaleños.
And I got the peppers, and then you got to dip it in the jalapeno cheddar cheese.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the only way, fellers, to eat beef jerky. Give her a dip, it'll change your life. By the way, I'll get it down, but this was risky, the tuna sandwiches. I probably should have went with the ham and cheese.
That one tastes like the package it came in, so.
Everything's fine.
Okay, good. Nope. Okay, easy. 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 You're coming off that ledge. Okay, perfect.
Neat. This is a cherry tree. You could tell because the way that it is. Well, fellers, we found ourselves in a predicament here. In order to get out of here, I can't go left because I don't have the ground clearance and the bumper's going to drag going through a creek. And right is way too steep and too rocky. So I've got to go straight down this slight hill here through a massive mud pit, and it's probably minimum 2 feet deep. So I'm kind of backed up on a hillside here. I'm in 4 low, but I'm going to grab 3rd gear if I can and just get this turb ski just nice and sushi. It's the only way we're going to make it through this thing, hopefully.
Back up and move over like a foot.
Well, the first and only time we got stuck today, right here, fellers. Could we have made it? Probably. Back up for a different line, but the rear tire was hanging on this and getting stuffed. Looks like we were dragging the U-bolts there. But basically, tire would get stuck there, right rear spinning here. It wasn't articulating very good. Front was digging there. And we dropped a bunch of oil. And I think I started filling the cylinders with oil because it was just losing power. So I want to get home today. That'd be nice. So yep. I backed out of her. But listen, if this is where your Scout gets stuck, I think you should be okay with that, to be honest. Otherwise, we've done fantastic today. So we've got to figure out how to get out at this point, which we've been trying to do. The club's right down there. We went this way around and ended up some dead end rock cliff thing. So I guess we're gonna go this way.
Back where we came.
Back where we came in, I think. Through there and try to find our way back to the Double D trail, which is around that way, and we'll probably call her good for today. But man, what a view. It's beautiful out here. Well, we did go ahead and make our way down, throwing her back in 2W. Gonna grab some gear, see if we can make her back home before sundown. Scout is back home at the barn. It made it there and back and wheeling all day. And I'm happy to say the only damage we got was some rubbish right here. And it just self-rolled. It just kind of rolled that in. Tires got cut up a little bit, but these good trips, you know, they're not super expensive and it's not gonna hurt them with these big lugs. Pleasantly surprised we weren't into the front of the fenders. I thought that might be an issue. In fact, I brought a Sawzall just in case. No damage up here. Tie rods, the links, everything perfectly fine. Didn't break any U-joints. Never overheated. You name it. Rig's in good shape. Rub just a little bit right there. Not too bad. Also, these good trips, I mean, they made for a good trip, gonna be honest. Now, some of you have heard me say in the past, you know, wheeling was a thing I was into for a little bit there, and we built some pretty serious rigs, axle swap, gear swap, different transfer cases, 6-inch, 8-inch, shackle flip, you name it, even dovetailed. And I gotta say, I am actually, officially, very impressed with the Scout. Now, of course, it has a little bit of a lift and more aggressive of a tire than most would have, but this thing really did go everywhere we pointed it, and several times we were looking at each other just, you know, is this a good idea? And it pulled through. The turning radius on it is great. The wheelbase was awesome up in the trees. It went up and down pretty much everything with the exception of one time. And I think if I would have hit it harder, it would have made it just fine. But I didn't want to break the axle or anything like that, and we started dropping a little bit of oil. So all in all, the SD33T, when you're in 4-low first gear, you don't even have to hit the throttle. So just crawl around and do the thing and make it happen. So Scout, she's approved. Off-road worthy, absolutely. Can you go hunting? Oh, you betcha. Can you go exploring and whatever? Sure. It'll get you down to the creek for fishing. You can go pick some berries. You can go looking for some old porcelain. I don't know what you're into, feller, okay? I'm just saying, if you need to get there, the Scout's gonna make it happen. Thanks, guys, for watching. Appreciate it very much. We'll see you next time.